Look into the mirror, let go. Take a good look at yourself. You've been through fire and rain and survived. You got a story to tell, yeah. Deep in your soul and it burns like a fire. So come, let's have a seat, get comfortable and talk to me on the Reflection Show. The Reflection Show. You look in the mirror, what you get is what you see on the Reflection Show. The Reflection Show. The Reflection Show.
Welcome to the Reflection Show. My name is Ramses. You never go to the mirror scripted, but you always go unscripted. And I got a very unique individual sitting in this chair today. He is a singer, songwriter, producer, rapper. When it comes to music, he does it all. He's the one and only Red Revolver!
Thank you.
What's up, man?
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, man.
Yes, sir.
We're in LA, and you know you had to hit the chair.
I had to.
Come on, dude.
It was imperative.
Come
It
on.
was imperative, and I'm just grateful to be here. And yeah.
I got one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your name, Red Revolver. Where does it stem from?
Man, honestly, just watched probably one too many Westerns growing up, you know? So it's a lot of those parallels. I liked the idea of just the whole, you know, when you see the character arcs and stories, the hired gun, the anti-hero, he's always an individual who, you know, he's just doing his own thing. Sometimes there's a problem for him to solve. And he steps in and he does what he has to. He doesn't necessarily ask for it, but it's there and he gets it done well. So a lot of times I kind of see, like, it's maybe a bit dramatic, but like with music, I like to be someone who is just like, can step in any situation musically or creatively, should I say.
And what artists do you feel like reflect those attributes that you're talking about?
Oh, wow. You know, that's good question. I'm not sure, but I would say, like, I guess the closest one I could think of is, like, I'm a big Prince head. So I like that about him. You know, he could produce, he could play, he could sing, he could write, he could engineer, he could do all these things. He could do every single thing, and it was always unmistakably his craft. He always left his touch on those things. And I really admire that. He's my personal, you know, greatest of all time, as far as when it comes to music. So, and he would work for other people, write for other people, produce for other people, and then he still also had his own, of course, creative craft and own brand and own contribution to music. That was very unique.
And what's one of your favorite songs from Prince?
That's a tough one too, but I'd say the one I just always think of, just because it's incredibly inspirational to me. It seemed like it, especially when you hear the lyrics, it just really spoke to me because it seemed like it was my life at one point. It was Little Red Corvette. Because he's just talking about just, man, okay, you know, these young ladies, you know, just getting your heart broke. You want to chase these young girls, and he's describing pretty much her and how she's moving, and just the experience of just like, oh, I really like this girl. Oh, but she's not trying to give me what I want. So, you know, it's just him describing it in a very, you know, tasteful and and I guess it's subjective, of course, but
yeah,
you know, a very colorful way.
Come on.
And very descriptive. So I think that's the closest one, I guess, that fits that.
I guess that's where you get your writing style from, like, to see such a powerful mentor as Prince, and to see the style of music he was doing and how he was breaking down his analogies.
Yes.
That inspired you to write more.
Yes.
From an abstract perspective.
Yes.
And
that's good. Yep.
bringing more of a concrete vision to your audience as an artist.
Absolutely.
So what do you appreciate about your artistry the most? Is it the pen, you writing? Is it you recording? Is it you producing? What do you appreciate most about your artistry?
Man, you ask good questions. You ask really good questions. I think I really just enjoy just the coming together of it in that regard. So I think if someone put, you know, some people, I guess, when it comes to whole writing, engineering, producing, things like that, describing what's the best or what I think I do best or what I like the best, I'd probably say the writing and the melodic aspect, the vocal part of it, because I think it allows me to have the most expression of personality or individuality or authenticity. Like sometimes, you know, there are certain people with their, like when it comes to producers, you can tell just by, there's a style, there's a sonic quality and fingerprint, absolutely. But I think when it comes to me, I think the part I'm allowed to be the most unique, the most prolific as I can be is the vocal and the writing part. And I guess it's the combination of the voice and the pen.
Give me an example. Freestyle.
Oh, right. Like, there's freestyle writing? What you mean?
No, freestyle now.
Freestyle now. Okay. So want to tell me what you live for. I can tell you what you die for. Do you really got some people you can ride for? I won't take my last breath with my eyes closed. I want to see the whole team win. Got love for my niggas, they be with me to the end. With my woman, I don't need no spoke, but I'll admit I need my ego stroked. Things like that.
Can I just
things like that. Appreciate you,
Hey, bro,
man.
you did like a professor. You should call yourself the professor. Because,
might be
brother,
nice.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that might be nice.
I mean, you spoke it, you said it like it was a conversation,
That's
but yet
absolutely.
you defined it within the confine of poetry. So it's unique
Thank
to
you.
see that you as an artist is bringing conscious music into a market that people stop thinking.
Yeah. It seems like people have, sadly, I don't think it's their fault, but I think a lot of times our audience is because everything's there's so much happening in the everyday life of people. It's very hard for someone to really sit back and enjoy the art and really think and, appreciate those things. So a lot of times I think a lot of music and a lot of art nowadays is just made to be very consumed very quickly, digested very quickly. And it's tough to hold people's attention nowadays, I feel like, just with music. Because people just, they got a lot going on. They have a lot going on. It's very hard to really just like sit back and do that. But I think if you can put it in a way where it sounds like something quick, sounds like something that is easy to digest, but then have it, I guess, delivered in a simple manner.
Yeah.
But just have it, the meaning be heavy. Not necessarily have a complex, maybe not making the subject or the message complex, but having it have a lot of weight to it. So you can feel it, it can have layers to it, you can keep unpacking. So on the surface level, it can be very, okay, yeah, this sounds like something I've heard, like this situation I've heard. Everybody's been through that situation. But listening deeper, maybe connecting more and more dots, even though it being a simple thing, simple melody, simple bar, simple chant, whatever it is, and then making it so it unpacks and unpacks and unpacks, and it can maybe even lead you in different paths of thought, because I think this is still, art's supposed to make you think and feel. And I want to do that with music. I think that's always the goal, and being authentic with that, but also I like to challenge, but make you feel good while you're being challenged.
But I also respect the fact that you went to school for music production.
Thank you.
You studied the art of what you believe you want to continue to excel in. What are some things that you see today in the industry that is missing that you learned in music production or through music production?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I have to admit my introduction in the industry was more so like, wow, this is way more complicated and way more intricate. Especially meeting a lot of the producers behind the scenes. Like, my mentor, Jovan, he's incredible musician, incredible drummer, and there's so much thought behind when he is creating. And there's the people that he's around that works with, they're incredible. They're masterful at their craft, whether it be a guitar, or whether it be a piano. So I think more so it's just, and this is just my opinion, but I'd like to see more music that challenges. It's not necessarily like we'll do what's popular, we'll do what's been expected.
So pretty much going against the grain.
I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more individuality with people's art form. I know there's there's a business aspect. You know, if you have a customer or consumer, they tell you what you like, or
Right.
what they like. So
Right.
as a business person, entrepreneur, things like that, if you're looking from that standpoint, it's wise to give your consumer what they want, or because they tell you what they want. You have
Right.
numbers and stats, things like that. But I think from an artist perspective or a music production perspective, I'd like to see more going against the grain, more individuality. Not to say there's a lot of folks doing that, but we also can see there's a lot of folks that kind of, they see what works, they master what works, and they continue to do what works. And because they've seen another person who's very talented, very good at it, working at it also. So there's a lot of connecting tissues, but I think what I'd like to see is just more risks taken, things that are maybe considered unconventional or even wrong.
Right.
Like musically, I'd like to see more of that, because I don't know, I'm strange, so I can appreciate the strange.
So, I mean, Prince did strange things.
Yes, he did.
So it made sense. To this day, people still try to understand what the song Purple Rain means.
I don't even know what Purple Rain means. If I'm being completely honest, it just feels good.
It feels good.
Yes.
It makes you want to look up at the sky and say, all right, is the rain purple? Is it gonna? He makes you think, right? It's almost like he's an abstract writer. He leaves you up there for you to jog,
Figure it out.
to figure it out.
I love that.
Because it sounds like that's the type of style you have been exposed to.
Yes.
So what was it like in your home growing up? Like, how was you? How were you musically seasoned with your parents and your family?
Interesting. So for the most part, like as a child, just growing up, you know, my mother and father were both, of course, musically inclined. My mother was a singer. My dad was a professional at it.
Oh, wow.
So he was part of a group called Commissioned. And so as a child, you know, I went to the studio. I, of course, had no clue what was going on. I'm 8. I don't know what's going on. I just see all these buttons on a console,
Right.
knobs. I'm like, and of course, like any good parents, like, don't touch anything. So, but it was more so seeing him work and just being at concerts and being like things like that. So it really kind of helped shape. They really did a good job, I think, of shaping my ear for quality music. So they would play a lot of like whatever they thought was cool.
Right.
So a lot of the greats, like especially when it came to R&B, Anita Baker, they played Earth, Wind and Fire. They played Parliament. They played Chicago. They played, of course, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. A lot of Black excellence from the 80s and 70s, and even just some of the really good pop AC that were great, like Sting, Toto. These people, Jodeci, all these great artists, great contributors to music. So they had that always. I was always a kid in the backseat. You know, I had a conversation with my father about that. He was just saying, he said, man, look, you were in the backseat hearing this stuff. And then I'm hearing his music on top of that, you know, and it's been, it's subconscious sometimes. As a kid, you're just a sponge, so you just take these things in. But I think it was more so just having a taste for that kind of quality in music, that kind of honest music, unique music that was just very, you knew like if you heard Sweet Love, I'm going back to Anita Baker, keep going back to Anita Baker because she's on my mind right now. But there's something about that was just heavy. You know, you didn't just listen to the music, you felt the music.
Right.
And these are artists that, you know, they exposed me to. And even then, okay, of course, my father being, he didn't want a ton of hip hop. You know, hip hop at that time had different messages. It was whatnot. But what I would do in high school was I would always stumble on Fuse as a rock and roll channel. So just ton of bands I never heard of, I would never hear of otherwise. And every morning for I think at least 2 years, like before school, I would watch these music videos of these bands like Paramore and Avenged Sevenfold and Breaking Benjamin, these kind of alternative rock bands. And that definitely made an imprint on just my ear, my taste.
Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like you took the initiative to exercise other areas in music to really help diversify your portfolio as a writer and as an artist. Your dad would commission, Carl,
Yes, sir. Yes.
Everybody know Carl from Commission.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can sing till this day.
Yes, sir.
And they're getting ready to go on tour, and their movie and stuff that's getting ready to come out as well. I think Javon Dawkins working on that as well.
Mhm.
To know that your father is a legend in the music business,
Mhm.
and they were the one to really become trendsetters, because that's what I respect about what you're saying.
Mhm.
You're only talking about the trendsetter that you are because of the DNA that's in you because of your
Wow.
father, right?
That's
Because
powerful. Yeah.
when the church was ready to kick them out, they were bringing R&B to gospel in a unique way
Yeah.
that led other people
Yeah.
to Christ in a very unique way. So it's
Absolutely.
the same thing that you picked up the mantle and understanding that
Mhm.
your way of artistry was,
Another way.
it didn't just happen by accident, it's because you were already in an environment that you were able to absorb those things from.
Absolutely.
So tell me about your future now. What is it that you want? And what is it that you want your audience to take from your music?
What I think the biggest message, the biggest point to take from it, and the thing I want to convey the most. So I have my spiritual affirmation. I have me being Christian, me being, Jesus being that
Right.
to me, being the focal point, center point. But on a surface, maybe psychological, cultural aspect, and just something that everyone can take from it is uh, individuality and the beauty of that, and embracing that. Not necessarily you're the only you that's ever existed. So be proud of that, embrace that. You can be, if you're strange, be genuinely strange, and then authenticity, not necessarily perfection, because that's freedom to be authentic. So really, and I guess that leads to the next point is freedom. So these things, encouraging people to be who they are, authentically who they are as an individual, and then also then finding yourself where you fit. And sometimes you don't fit, but where you fit in the great picture of people. Because I think that's a powerful thing, because that's what makes you valuable to other people, is you embracing yourself and you knowing yourself. And then when that's expressed authentically, I think that's, you become a blessing to other people, like other people, should I say. Everyone else gets something from you. And then when you're like that, and if I'm like that, that means there's an exchange, and then there's growth, and then people become better. To whatever it is, I don't know what everyone's goal is, what everyone's destination is, but you don't meet people by accident. And you give them the best version, or even just not, sometimes not the best version, but the most authentic version on your way to your best version.
Of who you are.
That's priceless to other people. You're doing yourself and them a service, being that way. Of course, you got things like you want to be kind, you want to have all those things like that.
Right.
Good manners, all that stuff like that. But on a deep rooted aspect, I think that's the biggest thing. Just being you, being comfortable with you, being honest with you, being and just loving that you're unique, and being okay with that. Just being not even just okay, loving that. That's what I say. I keep saying being okay with that, but loving that and expressing that as a gift to other people.
Which is very, very important. Listen, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I need you to take this moment out, and I just want you to think about what Red Revolver is sharing with you right now about being who you are. So we'll come right back with some more deep conversation with the one and only Red Revolver. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You guys have been listening to this amazing conversation on this platform, The Reflection Show, with the one and only Red Revolver. I mean, he is incredible. He sits here and he can just bring you into his world to show you the trendsetter that he is. But I want to dive deeper into his music. I want to dive deeper into hearing his thought process of creating greatness. So let's start off with that, Red Revolver. Let's start off with the art of you creating your sound.
Okay.
What is the process of that?
It depends. Sometimes it'll start with just really just opening up, whatever program I'm working on, and just I'll hear a whoop, I'll hear a melody, or I'll just play, something that's just plucking on the piano and hear something cool. Sometimes there's been songs and like a melody, a lyric inside
Hmm.
that's just been sitting there. Like one of my favorite songs I've ever written, that concept, that lyric, that melody was just gestating, if you will, for
Hmm.
just, I feel like months. And when I finally got it out, everything just flowed after that. It was easy. I didn't have to think about how a bass line sounds. It was just, yep, that's great. I didn't have to think about chords. That
Hmm.
worked. And it was just playing. I really just try to do uh I guess it starts a lot of the ideas, I guess they start with a visual in my mind, whether it's
Yeah.
like a, I don't know, something ethereal a lot of times, some kind of story, some kind of statement I've heard. Like
Hmm.
I like watching movies, so
Hmm.
especially ones that have deep meanings. I kind of pull a lot of song concepts from movie conversations.
So those things inspire you
Yes.
in order to write and create what you do in that moment.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your dad. So, what is the thing that you appreciate about your father and the art of him creating and being in the studio with him?
Man, I love that he's just really good at going with the flow. He knows what he does well, and he listens to instruction and he just executes
Hmm.
when it comes to his art. And he knows that what makes him special is him.
Hmm.
So he just embraces it. It doesn't seem like he's having to try, put on nothing. It's just him. And I appreciate that. I mean, recently I actually got to watch him in the studio working with it. And it was a very surreal moment for me because, I'm working as an assistant engineer in that scenario. And he's working. I'm like, I hadn't seen my father work in the studio since I was a kid. So it's like,
Wow.
that was very surreal for me. Especially because now that was the first time he and I were both in a studio scenario working
Together.
together. So it was just like, even though I'm assistant, I'm not leading anything, I'm not necessarily producer or anything like that, but that was like a full circle life moment for me, and it was just really powerful and really getting to see, okay, this is how they used to do things back
Hmm.
then. This group of men who created this sound and created uh, this wave, this template that music, R&B has been using.
Ooh, I caught
So,
chills.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, it's that, and a lot of the stuff I honestly used just over the years, just recording songs before I really just became, I guess, to this point where I was, creating like this.
Yeah.
But he'd give me advice like, hey, make sure you have your song rehearsed while you save money in the studio.
Hmm.
Okay. Remember when you're wherever you are, you're performing, you're recording, remember you're supposed to be there.
Hmm.
So when you're doing that, just keep that attitude about it. And when it came to studying people, when I was learning how to get better at singing, he just said, study the crooners, study Marvin Gaye, study Donnie, study Stevie, study, you can even study Frank if you want, study El DeBarge, like study these people who they had mastered the art of like emoting
Hmm.
with tone and confidence and realness.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
amazing because not everybody has the chance to be in the same space as their father,
yes,
right? And not everybody grows up in a house
yeah,
where their father is pursuing a dream.
mm-hmm.
And that's a mere reflection of you looking at your life and saying, you know what, if my dad did it, I can do it,
I can
right?
do it. Yeah,
Not everybody can look at where they are in their relationship with their father and say it's healthy, that I can
yeah,
learn from this. So it's a blessing that God has given you the opportunity
mm-hmm.
to be a witness, but also know how to embrace
Mm-hmm.
that relationship between your father. If there is, if there's one thing you can tell your father and your mother right now, what would that one thing be? Because pretty much they put you in a journey to be the artist that you are.
Yeah,
Red Revolver. And anybody know about a revolver gun, you know how it works, right?
yeah.
And I see red as the blood. So
There you go. That's great. I would say you did good.
Mm.
Don't even, you did good, and I love you. And I'm so thankful for you. And just all those, because I know it's tough being a parent. People do not give enough credit to that, especially now. Like, we just don't really see all the sacrifices parents make. Not necessarily just, in a financial thing, but just time, just emotions, all these things. So I would tell them I love them. Mom, I love you. Dad, I love you. Dad, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you accomplished, but also with you being someone who accomplished all those things, just you still had time to do what was the most important. You still made time to take me to basketball practice, take my brother and I to school, show up to our games. When we needed advice, I got in trouble a lot. So,
I mean, I could tell.
I got in trouble a lot. So
the professor
yeah,
getting in trouble.
I got in a lot of trouble, but he was there for that. Just wisdom, and then just supporting me, letting me just learn and go through life, whether it was choosing pathways that were a bit dangerous, maybe a little bit unorthodox, but they just were supportive for it. And then when I needed strong guidance, when I needed that, they gave me that. But then when I needed freedom, they gave me that, so that I'm here. The things that people like about me the most are you guys. And, the things that they're going to like about my kids are going to come from you guys. So.
And now that you're no longer in their shadows and you are where you are in this music business and you're developing your own name and your brand, there's a younger version of yourself, Red Revolver, that you can inspire someone else. I want you to look right there in the mirror. And I want you to tell that younger version of yourself, or I just want you to tell a kid that may feel alone, or someone who's 35 and they're pursuing their dreams, but they don't know what to do. What words of encouragement could you share with that person right there?
Don't quit. Don't quit. Because a lot of times what you want, what you think you want, a lot of times is, I know it feels so close sometimes that it might as well be a million miles away, but just that one extra move, that one extra effort, that one, just extra step is what's needed. But, if you needed 10, but you quit at 9 because you thought it wasn't going to happen at 9, just keep pushing. You always find a new level of strength. You always find a new level of perseverance. You find always a new level of tenacity, toughness. You will always find that you just got to keep pushing with it. But then you get smarter. You get people around you that know. You get people around you that they have things that you want. So you listen to them and you just take, you roll, you discard. I'm quoting Bruce Lee a bit because it just really helped me. But you discard what's needless, you keep what's useful, and you keep moving forward. And before you look up, man, you'll be someone you like. You'll be someone you like. You'll be someone you can respect and admire. But at the same time, it won't necessarily look exactly how you envisioned it, but it'll be dope. So just don't stop. Keep going. You can't fail if you don't quit.
You heard it from the one and only Red Revolver right here on The Reflection Show. Don't quit. You're just beginning. And every time you got to get back up and got to do it again, you're just beginning something new. How do you know you're going to get there if you quit early? This is Ramses on The Reflection Show. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, your experience matters.
It's what you see on The Reflection Show. Reflection Show.